Good evening. Today we are going to conduct experiment 5, which is observation of digestive system. Okay, before that, let's introduce ourselves.
My name is Lee Feng Xian. My country number is 187113.
My name is Noraina Samira Azlan, and my matrix number is 187220. Okay, now let's begin. Okay, the first slide is the slide of tongue. Okay, the tongue is located on the inferior portion of the mouth, just posterior and medial to the teeth. It is a small organ made up of several pairs of muscle covered in a thin, bumpy, skin-like layer. The outside of the tongue contains many rough papillae for gripping food as it is moved by the tongue's muscle. The taste bud on the surface of the tongue detect taste molecules in food and connect to nerve in the tongue to send taste information to the brain. The tongue also helps to push food towards the posterior part of the mouth for swallowing. Okay, the next slide is esophagus. Esophagus is a muscular tube connecting the pharynx to the stomach that is part of the upper gastrointestinal tract. It carries swallowness of chew food along its length. At the inferior end of the esophagus is a muscular ring called the lower esophageal sphincter or cardiac sphincter. The function of this sphincter is to close off the end of the esophagus and trap food in the stomach. Okay, the layer of the tissue that can be observed in the esophagus is first is the mucosa, then submucosa, then lamina propria, and the last layer which can be observed is muscularis externa. Okay, the next slide is the stomach. The stomach is a muscular sac that is located on the left side of the abdominal cavity, just inferior to the diaphragm. This major organ acts as a storage tank for food so that the body has time to digest large meals properly. The stomach also contains hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes that continue the digestion of food that began in the mouth. Okay, from the observation, we can see the layer of mucosa, submucosa, and muscularis externa. Next slide is duodenum. The duodenum is the first and the shortest segment of the small intestine. It receives partially digested food known as chyme from the stomach and plays a vital role in the chemical digestion of chyme in preparation for absorption in the small intestine. Many chemical secretion from the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder mix with the chymes in the duodenum to facilitate chemical exchange, chemical digestion. Okay, the layer that can be seen in the duodenum is mucosa, submucosa, and muscularis externa, and also serosa. Okay, the next slide we're going to observe is the slide of ileum. Okay, ileum is the final section of the intestine, of the small intestine, that empties into the large intestine via the ileocacal sphincter. The ileum is about 6 feet long and completes the absorption of nutrients that were missed in the jejunum. Okay, the layer of tissue that can be observed in the ileum is mucosa, submucosa, and muscularis externa.
Now we start observe the large gland colon slide. It's a part of large intestine. Colon is held in place by peritoneum that supports the abdominal organs. The functions of the colon is to reabsorb fluid and process waste products to be eliminated from body. Now we look at the pancreas slide. Pancreas is located behind the stomach in the upper left abdomen. Pancreas is responsible to produce enzymes which are important to digestion. The enzymes involve trypsin and chymotrypsin to digest protein, amylase for carbohydrate digestion, and lipase to break down fats. Next is the liver. Liver is a large meaty organ that located on the right side of the belly. The functions of the liver is to filter the blood coming from the digestive tract, and it also detoxifies chemicals and metabolites drugs. Furthermore, livers also makes protein for blood clotting. Now we observe the small gland for salivary gland. This salivary gland can be found in the mouth, located within each of the cheek, or located close to the mandible or under the tongue. Salivary gland, their function is to produce the saliva, which helps moisten the tongue. Saliva contains a digestive enzyme amylase, which enables to digest carbohydrate. Saliva also enables food to be moistened and dissolved before it's going down further to the digestive tract. Last, we have the sublingual gland. It can be found beneath the tongue. Sublingual gland secretes mucus and exits directly through the ravenous excretory ducts.